Heyo, how's it going? This is Christy. I've been following my journey working through routines and stuff with ADHD. I'm working on a bracelet project right now to help regulate disordered eating. Basically, for me, it's been helping me not munch endlessly, but I've been getting a lot of feedback from people who need to eat enough food during the day, and they also seem to think that it could help them track food as well. It also can be used to track things like water. It can be tracked things like the amount of cigarettes you had per day, so you can like try to have less and less and less cigarettes. Basically, it works like an abacus, and there's a picture up on my photo page if you can see it, where there's your clasp, and then you've got your middle bead here, and I've been using 21 beads to represent eating to 5 out of 10 3 times a day, and to a 3 out of 10 twice a day to accompany meals and snacks. I have had, and I know this is a little silly, possibly, but there's a little bit of feedback from people who have just a slight bit of OCD, who don't love that it's 21 beads because it's not even on each side. And I've been playing with this and playing with this idea, and I'm like, well, I like the concept though, and so I don't really want, like my OCD is like, no, it's 21, so it's 21 and it has to be 21, but it's fighting with the other side that also wants to see even beads on both sides. So what I was kind of thinking though is I feel like it's sort of more of an opaque concept anyway, because you're going to adjust around the beads, if that makes sense, because you're trying to figure out like what a 5 is for you and stuff, and it's really just to add mindfulness to your eating routine as opposed to mindless snacking or mindless forgetting to snack or any other habit that tracking would help you increase or decrease, basically is in concept, and it really does help with that. But I'm thinking, since I include like a drink, and that takes away a bead, or if I were at a store, a grocery store, and I were having like a bite of food there, I always, because I want to like reduce my mindless snacking, I make sure that counts as a bead so that I don't do a mindless snack unless I'm like going to have a snack, you know what I mean? Sometimes that means making sure I eat to a good enough to count for my bead, you know what I mean? Because it's gonna count me a bead. Or sometimes I just don't do it and it just helps me reduce my mindless snacking. Or like if I go to Costco and I get like the whole round of snacks, I count that as like 2, sometimes 3 beads, depending on how good the day was, right, Costco? So what I'm thinking is, just for the sake of symmetry, just for the sake of OCD, just for the sake of the fact that every little bite is counting anyway, and every drink is counting. And I don't mean like a Coca-Cola, because that's like 200 calories or something. I think I'd count that as probably like 2 beads or something. But I mean like a coconut water or something with a reasonable amount of calories, like 100 or less calories, 120 calories, something that's just like, like a light juice or something, So I feel like just for the sake of all of that, we can do 22 beads, and I'm going to keep sampling that out. I'm having like a really hard time not weighing myself, and again, that's just because I am so used to like every single day. Sometimes I'll weigh myself in the morning and then in the afternoon, just to see like how hydrated I've been or how much I've eaten that day, you know what I mean? And so just like different kinds of things, because otherwise I can't tell. Excuse me. And not knowing just drives me crazy, because I can be like 20 pounds up or down and just not even notice because of the body dysmorphia. But this is definitely a true way for me to test the system, to see if it's working, to see if it's helping build my intuition and stable my baselines, as well as maintaining energy and focus and everything else that usually ends up slipping in calorie deficits. I'm also trying to keep the muscle up, and the just different things that go when you're actually matching your calories to your appropriate needs, as opposed to traditional dieting where you're artificially increasing the calorie burn and also decreasing the calories at the same time, which your brain hates. you know. So this first week of the diet, I actually lost like 7 pounds, which was great. But it could have just been because I finally wasn't like so stressed out focusing about counting calories and everything, that just the dumping cortisol for wearing the bracelet could have just dumped a bunch of weight off me right there. But I'm hoping it's also the snacking. So this whole week, and I'm gonna probably not be taking any more videos because it's not going to be a whole much more to say. I won't know anything until I track again on Saturday. So here's to a great work week and keeping distracted until then. Cheers. Treat yourself nicely.